Hello, everyone. We are back in Vintage Story tonight, continuing where we left off in our last episode. We just finished smelting our firing our water can and our crucible, as well as a nice foraging and hunting trip where we finished defeating the wolves that have been plaguing our area. And I'm going to take a few seeds I got during that hunting trip and go plant them in our little farm over here. If I can walk the right way. And tonight's goal is we're going to make some charcoal, do our first bit of smelting, and get all of that going. Is I think what our first goal is going to be tonight. And see if we can't get all that done. I'll walk you through the process as we go, and we'll talk about it all. Alright, so let's continue on. The seeds out. Let's put away my extra food that I managed to pick up. And then we'll work on getting that charcoal fire pit set up. Because we're going to need that before we can do any smelting. Alright, put all that in there. Oh, this thing is quite full, isn't it? Alright, moving on. These in here. There we go. Put these. Well, actually, we need some more pelts, so we'll go ahead and just oil these up. There we go. And we'll save that animal fat because that will be useful. We'll put this flax grain in here and these flax fibers in here. There we go. Alright. Put these spears up in here. Get them off my hotbar. I had bones somewhere, didn't I? There they are. Put those bones in there. And now let's get these animal hides out and drying. There we go. Alright. And we'll go ahead and grab our axe, because we're going to need our axe. What, did my axe break? Looks like my axe broke. Alright, we'll just have to go make a new axe. In that case, we'll grab a couple of these bones here. There we go, because we're going to need a new knife soon anyways. We'll use those bones to make handles for them, make them last us just a little bit longer for that new axe and that new knife. So we'll go ahead and get that axe made first. If I can quit hitting the grass. There we go, and then we'll go ahead and do the knife as well, just so we have all that done and settled. We also need a bunch of other stuff in the future, but right now we're focusing on that firewood. Actually, so I think I'll go ahead and make 2 axes, because we're gonna need at least 2 axes to get the amount of firewood we want. I should also go grab my shovel, because we're gonna need some dirt. And we got to build a nice fire pit to burn this charcoal in. So, well, a charcoal pit specifically is what they call it in the game. This in here. Music's picking up. That's probably because that portal over there just opened up. Go ahead and grab our crucible and stuff out. There we go. Go ahead and grab those. One of the things I'll do is I'm going to go put this watering can over here next to our farm just so I don't lose it. And so I always know where it is. There we go. Let me grab my axe heads. We'll just go 1 and 2. I'm gonna grab one more bone since I want to put my crucible inside because I don't need it right now anyways. Just put her right there in that corner. Grab one more bone for our knife handle. There we go. I'm trying to figure out why my music's kicking off here. Not gonna stress about it too much. I got spears, we'll be alright, and I got a sword. I'm not seeing anything in our activity log. Doesn't say there's a temporal storm blowing in or anything. And it's just because the rift activity's high right now. That's what's going on. But that's alright. We're not going to stress about it. Grab my axe here, because we're going to need that axe. Alright. Actually, I'm going to make some more... Get some more grass here. Because one of the things I like to do when I'm cutting down trees, particularly for firewood, because you always need more sticks. It's been my experience in the game. You always need more sticks. Because I like to carry around a little stack of hay bales with me. Because I use them to climb the trees. That way I can get further up into the tree. Break off all the branches. So we'll do that. Just kind of go around the tree like this. This is just how I do it. Using it as... Oh, there's always that chance you fall off. We're also high enough up I can just start using my axe to break some of these branches here. Using the axe makes it faster, even if it does waste a little bit of the durability on the axe. But this also helps you get seeds to plant more of the tree you're cutting down. That's my experience. I like to have plenty of tree seeds. There we go. Alright, I think we've gotten all the important bits. There we go. Grab our hay bales back, and then we'll cut down this tree. Doesn't have any resin on it, we're just going to cut this one down. And we're going to use it to make firewood for our charcoal kiln, our charcoal pit. There we go. Got all that wood. Didn't see if it dropped any seeds. No, we did not get any seeds. Personally, I find that a bit annoying. But that's alright. For the game. I have some pine trees, some pine cones saved up. So it's not like a big deal. Grab some more grass. So I usually like to have about 10 or so hay bales around with me for this exact purpose. But let's see. Got 20. Alright. That'll be enough to get a little bit more done. Because we also need some grass for when we get to our charcoal pit anyways. To start the charcoal pit up, because you have to build a little fire pit. There we go. And we'll just shove the rest of that grass away. There we go. Alright. Let's go to our next tree. And I think we'll do this nice one here, because it's not too high up, easy for us to get. It won't generate a whole lot of wood. I'm just going to use my hands to break the branches off. Save the durability on my axe for now. Then I have another one. I won't spend the entire day making axes. We did get a pine cone off this one. That's at least a replacement tree. We got 2 pine cones. Nice. So this one has netted enough pine cones to replace the trees we've cut down so far. Alright. Is that all the wood we got? Yeah, that was a small one. Alright, so let's go do this one over here. And start knocking branches off. We're also going to keep an eye out, see if we see any resin on these pine trees, because they are a source of resin. And if we find one with resin on it, we're not going to cut that one down, because it will keep producing resin. Like every 7 days, I think. Something like that. Not seeing any resin on this one so far. We're going to break these birch leaves as well. Get them out of the way. Because they'll never grow up into a real tree, but we can get some seeds and some sticks out of it. If we get a seed, we can always plant one that will grow into a real birch tree. That'd be nice. I don't think we got a seed today. But that's okay. So we'll start working our way up here. Since we have a couple extra this time, we will do a little two-step. Give us kind of a staircase. Makes life just a little bit easier when you do it this way. It's not like we have to get super high up. We just need to get high enough up. So we kind of just want to break off the last of these branchy clusters here, because that's where you get the branches, and once you break all those off, all the other leafy bits will just kind of come off as well. And it definitely looks like we're not going to have any resin on this tree whatsoever. Because you can look at the thing, and it'll say, you know, a leaky pine log or whatever. It does not say that on any of them, so this one does not have any resin either. It's fine. We wanted it for firewood. Get all our dropped bits back here. Now we'll cut this one down. Yeah, these stone axes or these flint axes are kind of slow when it comes to cutting down trees. It's part of the reason we're trying to get into the copper age. Get some copper tools. Speed everything up. Tools will have more durability, they'll last longer, work faster, and really kind of accelerate our, you know, development really nicely. Alright. Push into the forest a little bit more here. We're going to break down this birch tree. It's just a small one. See if we get a couple seeds from it. A little bit of wood. At the end of the day, all these are to become firewood. And the birch trees don't produce like resin or anything like that. I think in some of the mods you can do things like get birch sap. It's maple sap. It might be maple sap. But there's some that let you tap trees for sap besides getting the resin from the pine trees. Oh, this one's got oyster mushrooms on it. We'll leave that one because it's got mushrooms. Those oyster mushrooms are good for eating, so we'll leave that tree be. That'll be a nice place to forage. Now, I'm not running any mods on this particular playthrough, so part of the reason, you know, I'm not too worried about cutting down the pine trees that don't have resin, because one of the mods I really do enjoy is one that improves upon the forestry and some of the planting stuff. And one of the things it allows is it allows you to tap pine trees for resin, basically. Now, these chicken of the wood mushrooms are also really good. That's just a good little mushroom tree right there. I'm going to mark that mushroom tree, because those mushrooms will grow back over time. So we'll just do that so I can always know this is a place where I can come for mushrooms. I'm not seeing any resin on this one either, sadly. Or its neighbor here. We're just going to knock these two down. Or all this one down. We'll leave the mushroom one, as I was just saying. But that should give us a nice start for firewood. Now I'm thinking I'm going to go a little bigger on my charcoal pit than I normally go. Normally I only go like a 3x3. I think I'm going to try and go for a 4x4 charcoal pit this time, and I'll show you what I mean by that. First things first, let's go back to camp here and grab my shovel, because I'm going to need my shovel for this. Well, I did not realize there was a cave right here. I'm going to mark that. That's going to be important later. So I'm just going to throw down a little marker. Where's my cave? There's cave entrance. I like to do them in black just so they stand out on my map a little better. But you don't want to fall into that. That would be unfortunate. Especially with the high activity right now of potential, like, drifter activity. So we still got all those portals around. Still high drift activity. Means a good chance you run into Bowtorn or drifters or other things down there, especially as it's starting to get dark out. Go in here. Reseal this. Keeping this sealed because that's going to keep my food fresher for longer. Put away my extra pine cones for when it starts to come time to plant trees. There's my mushrooms, since I have a place for these. There we go. Eat my porridge. I'll go ahead and get my next serving of porridge here. There we go, and it's out. Alright, so let's take our cooking pot there, put it on the thing, and let's make us a nice stew. I have this meat, which I could cook. It's bushmeat, though, so I can't use it to make stew. That's one of the mods that's very popular, is some of the cooking mods, because they allow you to make stews out of your bushmeat or turn it into jerky, things of that nature. I don't have any of those mods installed right now, so, you know, it is what it is. I can already hear the drifters out there. But we're gonna make some vegetable stew, I think. So we'll just leave one of these mushrooms. We'll take these 8 field mushrooms. Actually, we'll take 6 field mushrooms. There we go. Gotta decide what I want to put in my stew here. I don't really have enough of anything to make a full stew. So what I think I might do then is instead we'll make a flax-based porridge. It's probably not going to be the best thing on it for us, but we're going to do that. And I think I'll use some of these blueberries as well. I think we can do the mushrooms and blueberries. We're going to find out. Alright, so the way you make a porridge, you put in 2 slots of grain, 1 per serving in each slot. So for 6 servings, you need 6 in each slot, or 12 grain total. And then you can add 6 servings of mushrooms or whatever, and it makes it a porridge with mushrooms. And I think we can also add a fruit. Yes, we can. So in this case, we're adding blueberries. So this will make us 6 servings of flax porridge with field mushrooms and blueberries. Sounds delicious. So we're going to go ahead and get some firewood here. This is where I keep my cooking firewood. We'll just throw 8 sticks on the thing here. And I'm just holding shift and right clicking to do that. Now, what do I do with my other torch? I had 2 torches. Nope. I don't know what I did with my other torch. Alright, so I'm going to take this torch, light it. There we go, put that torch back. And that's going to cook. And then somewhere around here, I've got some low fertility soil, which we'll go ahead and take. I've got some packed dirt, which we'll also go ahead and take, because we're going to use that for making our charcoal pit. I'm going to go ahead and throw that sack of 40 coal, or copper, in there, just so I know that that's my sack of copper for smelting. I've got plenty of extra sticks right now, that's good. Go ahead and grab my shovel, organize a little bit. I'm going to need more shovels than that. That'll be fine for now. Go ahead and put these stacks of wood in my inventory. While our dinner cooks here, check the time. So it's like 9 p.m. in game right now. So we'll finish cooking dinner, take the pot off the fire, hit the hay, fast forward to morning, help clear everything out so we don't have to deal with drifters while we're trying to build a charcoal pit. Now, if people see things I miss as I'm doing things, or think of things I could be doing more efficiently, please feel free to leave those in the comments. Love to hear feedback from you guys. Because, I mean, what's the point of a YouTube channel if I'm not getting feedback from my people watching and listening to it? Alright, looks like we're going to need to burn 1 more stick of firewood there. And we can probably take those 3 off. Add them back to our wood pile. And there we go. There is our lovely porridge. And matter of fact, what we can do is we'll pick that back up so we can look at the satiety ratings of it. And you can see it gives us 240 grain satiety, 120 vegetable, and 120 fruit. And the reason this all matters is if we go into our character sheet, you can see it keeps track of where we're getting our nutrition from and how much of each one we've got. So I've already gotten lots of fruit because I've been eating berries as my character's been wandering around. And I've gotten some vegetable because I've been doing the same thing with mushrooms. Gotten grain because I've been eating porridge and grain. I've got a little bit of protein because, you know, I've been eating some of the things I've killed. But protein we're a little low on, so part of the reason I'm going to have to cook that meat soon, I think. Matter of fact, actually, you know what I am going to do? I'm going to go ahead and throw this wood back on the fire, and I'm just going to go ahead and cook that meat, because I can always throw it back into storage here. But that'll let me bump up that meat, because this porridge will sit here in this pot just fine for a few days. And actually, what I could do, before I hit the bed in the game here, is we're going to do a little bit of clay forming, and we're going to make some crocks, which are these things, that let us store food better. And we're also going to make 2 ingot molds, I think. Actually, do we have a hammer mold? Can we make a hammer mold? We can make a hammer mold. So we'll make a hammer mold, because I do need a hammer. So, with those laid out, actually we'll also throw down the ingots. The ingot molds, because we want those. Since I'm trying to get into smelting anyways. So first things first, let's go ahead and remove the big ones. Get these lines cleared up nicely for ourselves here. There we go. We'll go back to single units. But the crocs are good, because what they will do is let us store food for a longer period of time, especially since we have a little bit of extra fat from where I killed those wolves. You can turn them into sealed crocs, and sealed crocs last longer. Like, in a cellar like this room technically counts as, with a sealed croc, you can get, you know, weeks or almost months out of, you know, stews and things. And I think I've seen even longer, you know, with a good cellar and a sealed croc. I think I've seen you can actually get it up to like even a year, even. And then we'll just go ahead and do that. Get these finished up real quick. Gonna need more clay, I think. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna need more clay. Yep. Oh. There it went. Ran out. Alright. Thankfully, I have a lot more clay. Okay, we're gonna go here, because we just need to fill these in. That's the cool thing about this top layer on these crocs, because basically you're just making a little pot with a lid on it. And this is a real technique, by the way, because this game likes to pride itself on trying to be realistic. This is something people really used to do back in the day. Oh, ran out of firewood. How's my meat looking? Still got lots to cook. Okay, let me grab it. There we go. Thankfully, the fire's still hot enough to just relight the wood. There we go. Okay, back to our clay forming here while that cooks. It's a great thing to do in the evenings in the game. Either that or panning if you're trying to get into the Copper Age. I did that on my last stream where I was panning through the nights. You know, that can get a little boring, so I'm not going to do that on stream on the channel too much. We'll fast forward through that if I have to do any more panning. There we go. We're almost done here. There we go. That one's done. Nope. Keep forgetting it's on that low side there. Alright. Get these filled in. Our ingot molds, because we're going to need ingots moving forward. Because some of the things I want to make, we're going to have ingots for. Like, for example, you want to make a saw blade. To build a saw, you got to have ingots. You can't cast those. You want to make nails, got to have ingots. You know, some of the stuff you can make molds for and cast. Some of it you can't. But also, it's a bit more satisfying to do the forging anyways. I am going to cast the hammer, though, just because, since I'm going to be doing mining, because my first tool is going to be a pick, my second tool is going to be the hammer. What I've decided. Because you need the hammer if you're going to mine anyways. There we go. Alright. Cool. Got all of that done, so we'll just throw that back in there. We're going to check our meat. It's still cooking up nicely. So our perish timer on this normally Oh yeah, so this will be fresh for 17 days. Yeah, it was good to go ahead and cook it. It was only going to last 5 days in its raw state. That'll give us a chance to get some more, you know, meat in our system here. Can I stack these sticks on the ground now? Yeah, okay. You can put one stick on the ground. You can't, like, stack sticks on the ground. Got it. They've changed some of the stuff you can stack on the ground in the recent update. And I hadn't really played with it too much, but it's something we'll be playing with as we move forward. God, I don't want to let these finish cooking before I go to bed. If I wait any longer, this is going to waste the night. So we'll just go ahead and hit the bed. Should be finished cooking by morning, I think. I don't remember if it's an instant time jump or if it actually counts the time as things go by. We'll find out. Alright. The answer is... that's just an instant jump. Alright. That's fine. Now... the drifters are still about. But I'm really more concerned... oh, hello. You decided to come at me, huh? Come on. You started it. You're gonna finish it. Harvest them up, see if we get anything. Oh, we got some flax. Alright. Yeah. Close this down for a second. I'm gonna put my flax away. There we go. How are we doing here? It's almost done cooking. Go ahead and grab, like, some of this. Actually, we'll just grab all the bushmeat, and we will put, like, half the stack away, I think. And we'll just put most of it away. And we'll eat what we need to get a little bit in our diet here. It's calm now, so the drifters all should be clearing out. It is still taking a lot of firewood to get all this done. That's okay. Close that up, let it finish cooking. If I waste a little bit of firewood, it's not the end of the world. Alright, so let me go ahead and get these pit kilns going. Oh, I wanted you to stay in there. There we go. I hear a boat horn. Ow, I heard a boat horn. I got shot by a boat horn. These guys do a lot more damage than drifters. But, unlike the drifters, they don't like melee combat. Which means if you just run at them, they try to run away. Oh, we got some more flax. I will take the pre-flax fibers. How are we looking on moisture? Wow, these things need some moisture. Alright, let's go get these watered. Over here by the farm. Alright, so it's full. Alright. Cool thing is it just kind of right click and hold. You can just watch the moisture go up on these as you kind of go back and forth over it. Very nice. Part of the reason I really want to get a saw so that I can come in here, get a bucket, fill up these holes with water, and that will really help keep these things watered without me having to do anything. Alright, there we go. Yep. I need a bit more water for them. We're alright. I just don't want my crops slowing down too much, especially since I got a lot of flax. I want my flax to grow up nice and quick here. Alright, put this back down. There we go. Always got to do your daily maintenance on things here. Let's go get the rest of my works here. Go ahead and get these things in the kiln. Where'd that go? Oh, I picked it up. How are we doing here? Got this bush meat, which I'm just going to eat. I'll just close her back up. There we go. almost full. Put that there, and then we need some more grass. Always need grass. Need grass for so many things. You need it to set up your pit kilns. You need it to start your fires. You need to make torches. Lots and lots of things that you need grass for here. You need to feed certain animals. Start keeping sheep and goats. Gonna need lots of grass. Because they eat hay bales. At least I think it's hay bales. You have to put in the food for them. And they're actually fully domesticated goats or sheep. I tried to in one of my last playthroughs. I didn't quite get there. That close. And that I captured them. Which is closer than not having them. Alright, that should be enough grass. Get that. Get our sticks. And we have plenty of wood in our inventory to take care of that part. So we're going to have to put 10 pieces of grass in each one of these. And it's just shift and right click to do that. Alright, now we're going to put 8 sticks in each one. Same concept, shift and right click. There we go. Put our sticks away. Put our grass away. And chop up some firewood. There we go, and we'll do these next. There we go. And there went our first axe. And 4 pieces of firewood for each one. Gets you fully set up and ready to go pit kiln. I wish I knew what happened to my other torch. I think my other torch might have gotten left over here in my panning bunker. So I set up this little bunker for panning, and I was right, sure did. So that I could pan at night without being bothered by the bowthorn and the drifters. And that worked fairly well, until I realized I'd left the bottom open in the water, and they were shooting / throwing rocks at me in that little hole, and I had to seal it up. Which I did. There we go. And there's our pit kilns. Alright. I'm going to finish off this meat real quick. Get my character a little better fed. Okay, now... I saw something over here for a second. Let's get our shovel out. So that's that part of our area. So let's go over here, because I'm going to dig out this dirt to get the dirt I need to make some more rammed earth to build my charcoal pit out of. And I kind of want to level this area out a little bit. Because of what I'm thinking I'm going to do is put like my kitchen over here. So it's near my cellar, because that will eventually be my actual just dedicated cellar. And I'm probably going to fill this in, I think, with cobblestone for my floor. And then that'll be next to my farm, which will be nice. The real question is, where do I want to put my smithy? I'm actually kind of thinking near the kitchen area, because I do intend to build a windmill to power a mill so that I can mill flour when I get to that point. But then I can also run a shaft off the mill. Oh, there goes my shovel. To power some helve hammers, which are basically hammers that you can use for a limited number of things. Like, you can use them to hammer iron ingots out when you're making iron blooms. You can use them to make plates of metal out of ingots. And I think there's 1 or 2 other things you can do with them. But they just save you a lot of time and effort. That is not what I wanted. I made the wrong tool. Get distracted, make the wrong tool. Made a hoe instead of a shovel. It's alright. I'm sure we'll use it when we expand the farm. I'll just put it away in a bit. There we go. Shovel. Alright. Back to digging. So that's what I'm kind of thinking. I might build the smithy over here next to the kitchen so they can share that windmill. Which means I also want to put my charcoal pit in this area as well. You can see I'm knocking down a lot of these flowers as well. These flowers I'll save, because while I don't have a need for them right now, I can use them in the future when I get into beekeeping, assuming I find bees at some point. Which I'm sure I will. Anyways. Alright, so we are back here to our digging. Almost done. Because realistically, I just need a big enough area to set up my charcoal pit. So I may cut out a lot of the digging here. Alright. Let's see here. Yeah, so that's given me plenty of low fertility soil that I can use to make rammed earth. Alright. So now, what I could do is I could put my charcoal pit right here next to my... I think I will do that. I'm going to outline this thing real quick. So we want it 3 by 3. We're going to have to take off this layer of dirt right here. I want to completely cover the outside of it in rammed earth. Oh, could have timed that shovel breaking better. Make a new shovel real quick, because we're going to need to do more digging to get this done. Part of the reason I'm digging inside here is because, you know, I do intend to build my actual home out of, like, wood and stuff out in front. And leave the whole, like, underground stuff for, like, my cellar and things. There we go. And so, I'll just take this opportunity to crack that on out. There we go. And then we'll fill that in with rammed earth. There. And then we'll make some more rammed earth real quick. So we make some packed dirt. Set that off to the side there. Some more rammed earth. And there we go. Stack that off over there. And there. That just leaves us a little extra low fertility soil there. There we go. Alright. And plenty of dirt to build our structure out of. So we want it 3 by 3 on the inside, so we're going to go out 3. There's our there, and we'll go there. Oh, that's perfect. I did not go over the Rhine, which is nice. Take out this dirt here. Alright, that will give us our internal structure of where we want this thing. And I'll dig out this dirt, just because I like to keep it neat. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to dig out this layer beneath it here. The reason I'm going to dig this out is because, one, you don't want to risk the possibility of anything flammable getting in here. And again, I just kind of like to be neat and a little OCD about certain things here, particularly when I'm playing games and building. So this will give me an opportunity to do that. There we go. I missed that corner. Go. Alright. Now, I'll leave part of this open here. We'll just work our way up. So what I'll do is when I go to fill it, so I'll just dig out the side. There we go. Alright, I'll grab my next sack of dirt. I'm gonna feed my character. Alright, now we'll go across the top here. Come on. And I'm going to kind of intentionally leave that one open for now, because that's where we will start the pit fire. And what I'll do to mark it is I will throw in a hay bale, because these hay bales are so versatile. And there we go. So that will be our charcoal pit. Now what I'll do, to make life a little easier on myself, I will come here, so we know this is the middle. So we'll just cut this open right here. There we go. And we'll put these right here. That way we can get in here, and we can, so to get started, we'll just put down some firewood. That's it. Now we just gotta fill this sucker up. And that means cutting all of this firewood into firewood and putting it all in the fire pit, charcoal pit. There we go. That's the word I was looking for. All right. Now the cool thing is you can just hold Control Shift and it will put it down quickly, and it'll stop when it's filled it up. So there we go. That's one full stack. There we go. That's another partial stack. So we're gonna need some more wood. So let's first go feed our character, and then we'll go get back to chopping. We're gonna need to do a lot more chopping, and we can put away the shovel. I think we're done with the shovel for now. There we go. And we'll put away this. I'll go ahead and make this hoe, and then I'll just hang that up on the tool rack. That way it is out of my inventory. And we're going to have a nice little snack of our porridge here. Some. Eat another bit. Oh, wow, our character was really hungry. Took us almost 3 full servings of porridge to fill up. Now, our character was a little hurt. That's your time-wise. We still got plenty of time in the day to go chop up some firewood. So let's go do that. And I think before we go, we're gonna make a couple more axes. Again, this is very intensive on your durability on your tools, especially with these flint tools. Part of the reason I want to get into copper tools and then bronze tools, because you start noticing a lot more durability and a lot more use out of your tools that way. There we go. 2 more axes. Boom. Alright. Now let's go get some more wood, because we're going to need tons. You know, I could go cut these trees down here. Well, no, actually. These trees are closer. We'll just go this way. We'll just stick with the original plan. Got some more mushrooms over there. I'm going to gather those mushrooms up on the way back. I'm cutting down these trees. Again, we're going to knock the leaves off this, see if we get any more tree seeds so we can replant them. They do grow. That way you kind of have a constant source of wood available to you. Now you hear that? That's a wolf. Wonder where that wolf is. If it's too close, you have to be really careful. Now I have some spears. I could try to hunt it depending on where it is. But I'm not really ready to hunt a wolf right now, especially in a very thick forested area like this. Now I will very carefully sneak over here, grab this grain I see right here, this rye that is ready to be harvested. Just because that is going to be valuable to us. We can use that to make some more porridge, eventually bread. And we're also just going to mark this on the map so I don't forget that it's over here. I'll just throw down a little kind of orangish brown, say rye. There we go. That way I don't forget to come over here and check it. Because I like to harvest things when they mature. This makes it so you get a little more use out of it. You get the seeds and you get a little bit of, you know, the food as well. I guess we'll have a storm coming in. That's why the music's kicking up on us again. Oh, we got a birch seed. Let's put that down. Didn't see it. Alright, perfect. Yeah, knock down some more of these. Haven't heard the wolf again, so he might wandered off. Unlikely. It's probably just not spotted him yet. We'll throw this birch seed right here. Be a good place for it to grow. We'll knock down this tree for a bit more firewood. A lot of firewood. I may fast forward this in the channel for you guys so you don't have to watch all that. It'll be cut with that. That looks like copper. Hold on. Hold on. That is copper on the ground. So we have another copper node right here. So what this means is that just underground here is a little copper vein. Not necessarily little. We don't know how big it is. That means we can come in here and dig up some copper. So once we get our pickaxe made, we can come over here and get some more copper. Because I don't know that I found carrots, and I nearly threw myself down a hole that I didn't even know was there. That's a death trap. I have to mark that so I don't run over it. There we go. That is a death trap. I'm glad I made that jump. That would have been real bad. Alright, there's a rift right there. Okay. Spite. Interesting. Oh, looky here. So we've got a sky iron mine right here. So this is meteoric iron. So that's a lot later thing for us. We are nowhere near ready for it, but we're going to mark it so we know where it is later. Part of the way that you can tell is you see these Suvite stones here. Sky iron tends to create pockets of Suvite when it lands. So basically, ideal-wise, you know, a meteorite fell, hit the ground there, and basically made Suvite, as well as left a deposit of iron. And meteoric iron is stronger and more durable than the regular iron you can get, which we will be looking for later on. Let's go get a few more trees here. I'm holding Control and Shift to quickly put down the firewood. I can already tell you're not going to have enough. So what we're going to do is we're going to cheat a little bit. So I really want to get this charcoal going. Put that down so it's there. And we're going to stop there. And I'll probably come back once we've got this all nice and filled up. Nope, we've got a baby wolf. Sorry, little baby wolf. Alright. Couldn't have him growing up into a big wolf. Not after we had to fight and defeat his parents. Alright. How are we looking at here? Alright, so I need more. Alright. And hey, we'll resume our wood cutting in the morning. I'm also probably going to cut all of this out. Axes. Use bones for the handles. Get a little more durability out of these things. Alright. That pine tree over there should be the last of the wood we need. Hopefully. Moisture's looking a little low in these. I'll be happy to have a saw so I can get boards and a bucket. Start moving water around. I'm not seeing any resin. So we'll get this thing knocked down and see if that's the last of the wood we need. Axe broke, but thankfully, since I was carrying an extra axe, it automatically replaced it on my toolbar. It's a handy little feature of this game. Alright, can I get that whole tree? Sometimes you can get these weird issues where if there's like a leaf block in the middle of the trunk, it'll leave the top part of the tree. Thankfully, that didn't happen. Alright, so let's convert this to firewood. There we go. 2 stacks. I definitely feel like it was less firewood than I should have gotten from that. But oh well. It is what it is. Let's go get this into the charcoal kiln. No, charcoal pit. It's technically a pit. Oh, our rice ready. Nice. Okay, that one's full. Go plant the seed in our garden here real quick. I think I should go ahead and start working on walling off my garden as well while I'm sitting here thinking about it. Oh man, this one back here is like super dry. It sounds like we might get some rain. That'll be good. What are some of these? I can hear those wolves again. Sounds like they've come back. There we go. Put this down right here. Gonna grab some of these bricks. We're just gonna build a little dry stone fence, I think. For the... Alright, gonna leave some of this in here. There we go. Yep. There we go. And put pine cones away as well. There we go. Those away. Some meat on the fire. I hate wasting one piece of fat on this, but I don't want that hide to go bad on me either. There we go. Yep. All right. Food away. That's all handled now. All right. To our infinite wood chopping. That's right. I heard that wolf. They're coming back. Trying to get revenge. And there it is. You got the revenge. It's back where I wanted it. All right. Let's see if we can't make sure we've gotten all my stuff back. Yep, like that spear. I almost didn't get that spear back. Now I'm going to find this wolf. We're going to finish this. There he is. Oh, God. Ooh, we almost got a second time in a row there. Alright. That's another hide. Some more meat for the fire. It's good, considering my character's kind of hungry after this ordeal. Alright. Go ahead and break these bones. Now, we can finally get back to what we were doing, which was getting firewood. I feel like I'm missing some firewood. Oh, he killed a small animal here. Alright. I can see some more rye in the distance there, which we're going to go grab real quick because, again, running a little low on food. So we're going to grab some foodstuffs. Going on inventory space. A little low, so we're going to go put some of this away. So, looking in our charcoal kiln, you can see it's stacked all the way from front to back. With the last one, we're going in right now. We're going to stack it down. We're going to hold Control Shift so we can stack quickly, and that's going to do like 8 at a time there. So basically a full layer. And there we go. That should be the end of it. And now what we'll do, we'll go grab our shovel. Throw my blocks back into place. I'm doing that just to keep my food in there fresh longer. And there we go. We've got our rammed earth, which I just do this as a preferable personal taste type situation. You can use like any dirt for this. All right, now, so we've got 4 firewood left. We've got our dried grass. We're gonna break this block off here. I can get my character down in the hole. There we go. I wanted that block there, and actually, just realized I need one more thing before we do this. I need 2 more blocks of rammed earth, and I'll show you why. So we're going to go light this charcoal pit off here. And first things first, to do this, we have to kind of get it set up. So we're going to put a piece of rammed earth there because we're going to have to seal this hole as soon as we get this sucker lit. You got 30 seconds to seal this hole. If you don't get it done, you just burn all your wood and you've wasted all your gathering. So first we're going to crouch down by holding shift, put down a piece of grass to start a fire pit. And we're going to add 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces of firewood to it. We're going to take our torch out, and we are going to light this. And right now it says unlit at the top. There it goes. It says lit, telling us we have 30 seconds. We close it, and if we back up, you can see that smoke drifting softly up through the dirt. That indicates you've done this correctly. This is now a lit fire pit, or a charcoal pit, and in some in-game time, that will stop smoking, and you will have charcoal, meaning we are almost ready to do our first smelt to make our first copper tools, because that's the last thing we need, is that charcoal. Once we have the charcoal, we can do our smelting. And so we're going to call it there on this episode, folks. Thank you for joining me. Again, it will help me out if you like and subscribe to the channel. Help me get those subscribers up. That'd be great. And this is Talon McRom signing off for this video. Thank you for your time. Y'all have a fine day.